Welcome to Live from the Grooming Table. Thank you guys for joining me here today. I see you. I'm looking at you. I see you coming in from all over the place. I'm so glad to have you here. I have something really neat that I put together for you tonight, and I can't wait to share it. But before we get to that, let me introduce myself and welcome everybody here. Whether you're new or you've been here before, I love you all and you're in the right place. Thank you for joining me live from the grooming table. I am Amy Leigh, certified professional groomer since 2003. But it's absolutely my pleasure to share with you the secrets of the pet grooming industry so you can provide the same level of quality care to your pets that you groom as I provide to the pet clients that I groom as a professional. One of my goals here on my YouTube channel is to bring a new voice to the pet grooming industry. And that is one that includes pet owners as valuable consumers of pet grooming products, tools, and equipment, not just pet groomers. You guys want the good stuff too, and that's what you get here. That's where you learn all about it. Having a place to learn proper dog grooming techniques, receive professional advice on tools, products, and where to get them is essential. But that's why I created this YouTube channel for you and the pets you groom. Welcome to Go Groomer on YouTube. I have to say something. I see everybody in there. I'm loving you guys. I see it. My favorite dog dad, David, am I going to see you in a couple days at RWGroomX? I'm hoping, I'm assuming definitely you're going to be there. I'm looking forward to seeing you, David. We can team up together and cruise the floor. I have a couple classes to teach, so maybe you can pop in and see me there too. But I can't wait to see you, David. And Alex and I are packing up as we speak. I'm a little scatterbrained tonight, guys, and I hope I deliver my lesson good tonight because I'm 14 steps ahead. We're taking 2 dogs over 700 miles in the car. One's a puppy, little poodle Cash. He's a little over 3 months old, and Big Gus. Big Gus is going to be part of my demonstration and one of my seminars. If any of you are coming, I hope to see you. So that is going to be me demonstrating my 11-step dog grooming system. You guys know all about my 11 steps to groom any dog. And it just so happens that that's a bit of what the topic is about tonight. So I can't wait to bring you all this information. We are half packed and we are going to finish packing when you and I finished hanging out here tonight so that we can get a good night's sleep, get the dogs settled in, get up, feed them, feed us, get cleaned up, and get out of here. We're going to be on the road probably about 11 hours because of stops with the dogs. They're going to need to stretch their legs. We're going to need to stretch our legs. We're getting old. These road trips are tough. I'm looking forward to it because my husband's going to be with me. If you guys have always wanted to meet Hubby Go Groomer, now's your chance. Come to the RWGroomX show in Owensboro, Kentucky, and you'll get to meet my dogs, my husband, and me. So we're getting ready to do all that. It's a little bit crazy upstairs, but we're getting it all together. So let's get started tonight with what we came here to do. Tonight's topic is my proven 11 steps to groom any dog. It's a dog grooming system. It's steps to follow. It's a complete framework and it's a guide. And I've put it together in a slightly different way tonight. It's still the same 11 steps, of course, because I don't deviate from those, but I grouped it up a little bit it's going to kind of coordinate with our last lesson that we had here 2 weeks ago, live from the grooming table. So I built upon that and added my 11 steps into this lesson for you. The last time we got together, I gave you guys my personal go-to pet trim, the common pet trim, what I go to all the time. And you remember, and that video is still live. If anybody didn't get to see it, it's not live, but it's up there. It's available for rewatch. So along with one of the most common pet trims that I was telling you about last time was what guard combs and what blades do I usually use on that common pet trim that I perform on so many dogs that I groom, because it's such a common trim. It's a tried and true trim. I know it leaves enough coat to protect the skin, but yet not too much that it's not a manageable trim for mom and dad at home in between grooming sessions. And it's also a comfortable trim for a dog to wear between grooming sessions. So we already know about that, but we're building on it tonight. It was a guide designed to give you a strong foundation that you can apply to most any dog that you groom. Not every dog, as we spoke last time, not the breed standard trims. They follow a very specific guard comb or blade length and trim patterns. But in that last lesson, we explored the importance of having the same steps with every dog you groom. So we talked about that. We kind of incorporated that in there, starting each section with focus and with purpose. That's one thing I'm always trying to, keep on the front burner for you guys. Always start your session with purpose and focus. Know what you're going to do before you do it. It's going to make your grooming sessions go better. And some of these guides that I put together for you definitely help you achieve that. So we break every groom into 3 core categories. We also talked about that last time. Those core categories, it's a tongue twister. Core categories are coat prep, clipper work, and scissor work. So we break our grooming sessions into those 3 categories. Obviously, sometimes if we're doing a D-shed on a golden, we're not going to be doing much clipper work. We're going to be doing some clipper work, but it still falls into the clipper work category. And the scissor work for a dog that doesn't get a full haircut is still existent. You still need to trim around the feet. You need to, blend around the ears, scissor around the hiney where it gets all crazy, and maybe trim the underline of the dog so it looks nice. So the core categories, coat prep, clipper work, and scissor work, they do follow through with every single groom. It's important to follow the steps along with when you break down into categories. So we break every groom into 3 categories. You create a clear structure that leads to a better result and builds confidence for you because you're not overthinking everything, right? Every time you step up to the grooming table, you're going to have a little bit of confidence when you have your plan set. You know what you're doing. And that's what I try to help you guys do, because I know how frustrating it is to remember all the steps to begin with. So with pet grooming, consistency is key. We talk about that all the time, being consistent, knowing what you're going to do, have your plan. But it all starts by building strong habits from the very beginning. So if you are a beginner, or you're learning to groom your own dog, you're not grooming professional, you're still a beginner. And it's important to build those strong habits that are going to give you successful grooming sessions from the start. So you don't get frustrated. That's what we want to avoid here. And there will always be frustrating moments in pet grooming, let me tell you. But the more organized and the more on target we can be, the more successful the better chance of success. Let me say it that way. It's going to be. So I have some screen shares to show you guys tonight. We're going to start diving down into this. Every successful grooming session follows the same 3 foundational phases, which we talked about in our last live stream. Coat prep, clipper work, scissor work. Break every groom up into that. But today we're bringing it all together a little bit differently. We're merging the 3 foundational phases of grooming, coat prep, clipper work, scissor work, with my proven 11 steps to groom any dog. We're merging that into one ultimate go-to guide. Ha! Isn't that cool? Heck yeah. So by grouping the steps and aligning your tools, products, and techniques with these 3 core categories, do you see where I'm going with this? Aligning your tools, products, equipment, and techniques with coat prep, clipper work, scissor work, you'll create a smoother experience for the dog and a more streamlined, confident workflow for yourself. So it's a system. It's a system and it works. It's what I used all these years. I put it together, and because I'm just that way. I'm very regimented. I have to know everything has to be laid out for me. So it turned out to be a very successful system for me, and even the assistants that I would hire as I would train people to bathe, dry, condition, and pre-clip for me, however far I took them in their apprenticeship. it worked for them too. And that's why I know it works. So we're going to be diving deep into this today, guys. You can consider it kind of like a playbook for you for grooming. The key to mastering every phase with purpose, precision, and fantastic results in less time. That's what we want. So I've put together some great screen shares. We're getting ready to fire that up right now, guys, during this workshop for you. So get those little rectangles ready, or take a screenshot if you're watching it on your little rectangle there. So you might want to take some screenshots and use that as references for later, because they're pretty awesome. So let's dive into it. Next image. All right. We're starting with, obviously, coat prep. That's the first phase, the first category, right? Now I want to show you here what I put together. The first steps 1 through 8, steps 1 through 8 of my 11 steps all fall under coat prep, okay? So it's one way you can separate your tools. You can get all the tools that you need for the coat prep, the bathing, the drying, the brushing, maybe some pre-trimming if that's necessary. That's all going to fall under coat prep, and that is the first 8 steps of my 11 steps to groom any dog. So wow, coat prep takes up a lot of steps, doesn't it? Well, let's zoom in a little higher. You guys are probably squinting. Yeah. Is that better? Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I will be blowing these up for you guys, because I realize it's probably pretty hard to read, but take the screenshot. Go ahead, I'll wait. There it is. Take your screenshot. This is the coat prep category, and it is the first 8 steps of my proven grooming system that I follow. But coat preparation is the first and the most important step in every grooming session. Don't ever forget it. It involves bathing, conditioning, drying techniques, and brushing, maybe some pre-trimming. This is always essential to creating a clean, manageable coat that's ready for clipper work and scissor work. It has to be ready. The coat has to be ready for clipper work and scissor work. So category 1 is very important, and it has 8 of my 11 steps in it. So 8 of those steps fall into this category. This category lays the groundwork for the entire groom. When the coat is clean and thoroughly prepped, the easier and more effective every step that follows is going to be for you. I can't stress enough how important coat prep is, guys. And I have plenty of videos on my channel. Hang on, let me get my screen under control. I have plenty of my videos on my channel that actually walk through these 11 steps for you, up close and personal, on a couple different breeds. One of them is with a shedding breed, and one of them is with a dog that gets a full haircut. So, and then I think I have another one with my 11 steps. I do have a lot of videos in my library of videos that show you in detail how to perform these 11 steps efficiently and effectively. So always go through and look in my videos that I have up there. I know there's a lot of them, but they're there, and they're there for you, so you can always refer back. I'm glad that we do have such a library of videos that we can refer to, especially when we're teaching something together and we're learning something together. I can say, hey, go watch that video. It goes deeper on this, and it would be helpful for you. So let's move on. Let's move on to category 2. Category 2 is clipper work. In the clipper work, and with my 11 steps to groom any dog, you're going to see that step number 9 is the only step that is included in this category, which is clipper work. Remember, there's 3 phases: coat prep, clipper work, scissor work. So step 9 of my 11 steps framework is clipper work. And this step lays the foundation and structure for the entire trim. This is a very important step, clipper work. Take your time. Let me blow that up for you. Hang on. Is that better? Okay, I'm sorry. I was making you squint again. All right, so back to it. In the clipper work, this is where the bulk of the coat is removed, guys. Most of this, we're talking pet grooming. So in a pet trim, a typical pet trim, the bulk of the coat of the hair that's going to be removed is done in this step, in this category, which is clipper work. And it sets the stage for precision with your scissor work and all the refining that you need to do with your scissor work. But at this step, you're only focusing on clipper work. That's the important thing that I tried to explain last time we talked about these things, is focusing on just the clipper work and not putting the clipper down until you're ready to move to scissor work. Bouncing back and forth from clipper to scissor is going to get you way off track with your groom. Do all the clipper work first. And there's an order to the clipper work that I follow, and that's what you're seeing right here on screen. I usually do the body and the tail work first, then I'll move on to the legs. It may be a longer guard comb that I use on the legs. It may be the same guard comb that I used on the body, but I do the body and the tail first, and maybe I'm not trimming the tail, but in many cases I am. So if I am, I will do that. Then I move to the legs, and then I'm probably going to switch guard combs, and I'm going to switch over to do the head and the ears. Maybe I'm not going to clip the ears. Maybe I'm leaving full ears. But if I was going to take some length off with a guard comb, that's when I would do it, when I move to the head. And then I'm going to take that guard comb off. I'm going to pop a cool 10 blade on that's not hot, because I've just been running my clippers. I'm going to pop a cool 10 blade on, or I'm going to use Cool Care, and I'm going to perform all the sanitary trimming, which is the private areas around the bum, all the privates, some delicate detailed areas around the corner of the eyes, corner of the ears, where the earlobes are. Sometimes I trim that a little with a 10 blade to vent the ear, make sure that it gets good airflow, but that's all 10 blade work. That's why I wait to do it now, so that I know that I'm staying on track. Do you see that? And the last thing that I'll do is the paw pads, because sometimes I will switch over to a 30 blade, and that will only be for the paw pads. And the reason I save the paw pads for last is because if I am going to use a 30 blade on the paw pads, I want to make sure it's the last part of my clipper work, because if I accidentally forget that I have a 30 blade on that clipper and trim any other area of the dog, it's not going to be good. If it's in a sanitary area, it's going to cause major skin irritation. It's too short, too close. It's called razor burn. It burns the skin. It affects, doesn't burn it like hot burn. It's a rash. It'll cause a rash. So that's what, this is the order of my clipper work, guys. So did you take your screenshot? It's very important. Don't forget, you can always go back and rewatch this too and take your screenshots. But I made these for you. I want them to help you. So that is the order of my clipper work, guys, when we're in category 2. By completing all your clipper work before picking up your shears, you're creating a cleaner, faster process every time, and you're not going to backtrack. That's the important thing. Oh, wait, I didn't trim this. Now I got to put my scissors down and go back to my clipper. You don't want to do that. You want to get it all done, and if you're following a strict order of how you perform your clipper work, you will get it done. You won't forget what you did. It'll be in a perfect order for you guys. So take that screenshot. You better do it quick, because we're moving on. Are you enjoying the lesson? Do you like it? Pac-Man Bob's here. Rambling court jester. Look at my friends. All of you. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of you here. Thank you, guys. Okay, I think you're liking the lesson. Let's move on. So the third and final phase or category of grooming is scissor work. We don't perform our scissor work until what? All the clipper work's done, right? That's right. Scissor work is all about refining the shape, balancing symmetry, and delivering that crisp, polished look. You really don't have a lot of scissor finishing work to do if you utilize your guard combs, guys, to set your length. Then you're just refining with your scissor work. Whether you're working with straight shears, curved shears, blender shears, or chunker shears, this step is where your artistry is going to shine. This is where you can be creative. It always ends up being a dreaded area when people are grooming. A dreaded area, oh, scissor work, I struggle with the scissor work. But because it takes a while to master it and really get good at it, and once you figure out that you have gotten good at it, then you're very confident with scissor work. And you're also excited to get to that part of the groom because it's the fun part. And you're like, now I'm going to show myself what I can do. It's fun. So scissor work is challenging. It's one that takes a while to perfect, but once you do, it really boosts your confidence because you see what you're capable of with your scissor work. So let's blow up the scissor work a little bit here so we can get a little up close and personal with it. Let me get back here to my notes. So obviously, sometimes we're using different shears. And I want to tell you guys, this is kind of the order that I do my scissor work. So I start with a straight shear. And what I'll do there is use my straight shear for any precise lines or specific detail work. Like let's say I'm contouring the ear of a schnauzer. So I need to be very precise and very focused. I'm going to use my straight shear for that because it gives me the most accuracy. A curved shear is curved, and I'm not sure that I can do it easily with a curved shear, but I think if I was starting out, I would never want to do that. I would use my straight shear to set the underline of a dog, you know, like the furnishings under a schnauzer. I'll use that straight shear. I want a nice straight line. So where you want your straight lines is where you're going to use your straight shears. Where you want your curved or your rounded and your contoured edges is where you're going to use your curved shear. So going from straight shear to curved shear after you've done all the straight shear work, the next thing to do is to go to the curved shear if you use curved shears. Not everybody does. But that's what I would do. I would, you know, for rounding the face, for rounding the feet, for shaping the ear length. If I had a full fluffy ear, and I want to set the length of that ear, I'm going to shape that with a curved shear. So after I do my curved shear work, then I do my blending shear work. And the blending shear is my favorite part of shear work. But the blending shear is when you kind of merge the different coat lengths together seamlessly by just blending them together, smoothing it all out, adding a little texture because your curved shear is going to let those two areas of coat length blend together nicely instead of a very sharp line. Oh, look, there's a sharp line. You know, you won't have that with blending shears. They're the magic touch. They're the magic eraser. They're part of every grooming session that I have ever, any dog. There's always a blending shear involved, maybe even a chunker shear. And the chunker shear is usually about the last one I'll go for, just to tidy up, add a little texture, but it's not made for every coat type or texture. So just be careful when you incorporate chunker shears into your grooming routine because you may not need to. You really may not need to. But the important thing to remember with scissor work, guys, is that clipper work builds the foundation. So the phase before this, the clipper work, it builds the foundation for our trim. It sets the lines, it sets the foundation, it sets the shape. But the scissor work is what truly elevates the groom to a professional level because you tie everything together beautifully with your scissor work. And that's what scissor work is for. It's to refine the shape. It's to the areas that the clipper didn't do so well. You're going to finish that off with your scissor, and you're just going to follow the length that you're already set with your guard combs. So scissor work, it's the hardest one for you to perfect probably, guys, but it's going to become one of your most favorite, especially if you find a good pair of shears. When you have a good shear in your hand, you know it. Especially if you've tried to save some money and use some cheaper shears, you will feel the difference. You absolutely will feel the difference in your comfort with the shear in your hand. You'll feel the difference with your control over the shear. And holding your shears is an absolute must. You have to hold them properly. If you don't know how to hold your shears, I have a whole video on that. And I have a whole video on how to choose your blending shears and why there are so many different teeth and sizes and all. I have so many videos, guys. anything that you're looking for help, I have a video on that. And, you know, it's nice that you can watch a session like this and then say, now I need to go back and watch, am I holding my tools properly? And that includes your brush. I have one video that is called that, I believe. Are you holding your tools properly when you groom a dog? Meaning if you're not, this is what's going to happen, and this is what you may be experiencing. So this is how you hold it. Your brush, your clipper. There's a right and wrong way to hold your clipper. Your shear, and how to use the comb properly. That's another big one. But I got you covered. You know I do. So the next thing I want to show you, this is just a little fun thing. This is, we're taking a little peek inside my toolbox. These are tools you would find in my toolbox. These are my go-to tools. And I broke them into those categories: coat prep, clipper work, and scissor work. So take a screenshot. You can blow it up after you take it up. You can blow it up so you can see it better. But these are my go-to. All this stuff is linked for you below in the description. If you're like, well, what is this? What is that? What does she mean about this 42 tooth blending shear? You can go in the description below and click on it, and it'll take you over to Groomer's Choice, where you're going to save some real money. Because you know Groomer's Choice and I are a team now, and I am so happy about that. So this is a peek at my toolbox. It's a visual breakdown of how your grooming tools, your products, and equipment align with those 3 core grooming categories, and also how they align with my full 11-step system. So it's broken into the steps, and it's broken into categories. And everything is linked for you guys in the description below, so you can explore each item when you have time, or if you're curious, or if you're looking for something, you can go down there and explore. But remember that every great groomer starts by building strong foundations in your grooming habits. It's the secret sauce. Building strong habits, building your foundation, your framework, your methods of how you operate is what's going to build a great groomer. Following consistent steps is very important. These 11 steps that I put together, they work, and they work in order for a reason. There's a reason they're in order. One of my classes I'm teaching on Thursday this coming week at the RWGroomX show is about my 11 steps, and it goes down into detail about why I trim the nails when I do. Why don't I do it at step 2 instead of step 6? You know, why I pluck ears when I do, why I clean ears when I do, why I do the things I do. And even showing you today how we broke down the clipper work and the scissor work. Those are the whys. There's a reason for that. So, and the reason is to keep you on track so you're ready to move to the next area, which may be trimming the legs, trimming the head, whatever. But it keeps you, there's no guesswork anymore. It's a foundation, it's a framework. That's why it's called a framework. It keeps you on track, and it keeps your grooming sessions successful. So following those consistent steps, choosing the right tools, and working through each phase with purpose, that's what turns good grooming into great grooming. It's absolutely true. And if you're looking for even more support on your grooming journey, don't forget hounds. I see you. All my hounds are over there with green. They have green and orange. Because, well, Rambling Court Jester and Janelle, I think if she's in here, I haven't seen Janelle in a while. Yes, she's here. Hi, Janelle. They are chat moderators, too. So they're my VIPs. I'm telling you guys, I'm saluting you. You are my VIPs. All of you are. But they do a lot for me. And I love you guys. Rambling Court Jester, Janelle, you always are so helpful. So my channel members, also known as my hounds, if you want to take your grooming and learn more, definitely more of like lesson type grooming, you'll want to join my channel. There's a button. You can click it. It says join. Click the join button. It's $4.99 a month. And just the PDF that you get once a month in each of our monthly learning sessions is worth more than that. Trust me. I've paid a lot of money over the years for grooming guides and for videos and all kinds of stuff. So it's a good price. So if you want to join, we're still accepting hounds. We love hounds. We could never have enough hounds into our channel membership group, and I would love to have you be part of that, guys. There is a boatload of specific lessons in that Sheer Joy with Amy Leigh and the Hounds playlist. So now we're getting ready to open up for your questions. But before we do, I just want to tell you thank you so much for being here, for investing in yourself, and for being part of this amazing grooming community that we've built together. We have built it together, and it's something truly amazing. And I am so proud of you guys. And I can't believe what we've created. It's changing pets' lives all over the world for the better. And people are finding a hobby in dog grooming, even if they're like, well, I don't think I want to do it for a living, but I really love doing it. So they do their own dogs and their family dogs and their friends' dogs, which is quite a few dogs, and they love it. And some of you are probably shaking your head right now saying, well, that's me. Yeah, and that's an amazing thing. But that's why it's important that we have our Go Groomer community to help you on that journey, to help you be confident, successful, and keep learning together. And we help each other. So now let's get to some questions from my beautiful friends who have all joined me. There is a lot of you here. Thank you for coming. Oh my gosh. If you have a question, put a line in front of it. I see Kathy did. I'm just scrolling up. I'm going to start at the beginning. You put a line, just hold the dash bar, put a line, and type your question. That way I see it and I can make sure I get you an answer. So let's go back up to the beginning and let's take a look here. Did I clear my screen? Yes, I did. All right. I hope you guys took some screenshots of those steps and the way it was all broken down for you. It'd be quite handy. So I wanted to see if David said he was going to go. I know he's going. David, you got it. Send me a message. Let me know you're going to be there. Okay. I think you're coming. Okay. Got to get back to it here. All right. Let's start with questions. Michelle Allen says, love it. It makes it easier. Thank you. I'm glad this is making it easier, Michelle. That's what I want to do. When I'm working hard for you guys, that's what I want. I want to simplify things for you. I think it's very important to take some of the stress out of grooming because it can be stressful. You're working with a live animal and you're a beginner. You know, we all start at the beginning. We're beginners when we start. So it's a lot. Kathy says, Amy, can you explain adjusting shear tension with the screw again? I haven't checked it in ages. I have a video, Kathy, that will be a lot easier than me trying to explain it to you here. Your tension dial on your shears, it's like anything, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. If they're too tight, you want to loosen it. One click. I usually go one click, test it. How do I test it? It's in the video. I can't really show you here, but I have a great video on how to make sure I think it's a picture of a shear and it says, are you doing this? And it basically means, are you adjusting the tension on your shears and cleaning them properly? So it's all about shear care. It was a recent video, maybe about a year ago, but it's up there for you on the replay, Kathy. That's going to help you tremendously. And anybody else who's wondering. But why I'm glad you mentioned it, Kathy, is because adjusting and cleaning your shears and checking them for sharpness, which was also part of that video. How do you check to see if your shears are dulling? It's all in there. Why that's important is because you don't want to wait until you're grooming to find that your shears are out of whack or that they're half dull or that they have a dull spot. You can check all that and know when you need to get them to the sharpener. I always send my shears to Kenchi. They have a great sharpening service. They have a great sharpener. I'm never disappointed. I have had some bad jobs over the years and wouldn't go back to those sharpeners and still waited a while for my shears to come back and only to find they were kind of hammered, you know, it's sad. So I really trust Kenchi. They have an amazing shear sharpener and you can download on Kenchi's website at kenchi.com. You can download the form for you to fill out, send along your payment, and send your shear to Kenshi. And that's who I trust. There are many. I guess if you're in grooming groups, you could probably ask other people who their favorite sharpener is, and especially if it's a professional groomer, they've probably been through a couple. So if they have one they like, then that means it's a good one. So you want to, and I'll tell you why. Like my shears, for instance, my shear is the Sapphire shear line. It has a serrated edge, so it really grabs the coat. It doesn't push it away when you use your shear. It's precise, and it's made for the beginner or the everyday pet groomer. It's the workhorse shear. Now, that serrated edge, if that's not put back on properly when it's sharpened, my shear is not going to be the same. So it's very important. And on all my blending shears, they have fancy situations, like serrated teeth on each tooth of the blending shear. The sharpener really needs to understand and take a look at that and say, I've got to replicate this. This is what makes this shear magic. This is what gives this shear its magic. So having a good sharpener is so important. But Kathy, watch that video. It is going to, you'll be like, oh, it was there all along for me? Yeah, it was. It's got everything you need in there. Brenda B says, hi, Amy. Thank you for all you do. And you are welcome, Brenda. You know it's my pleasure. Why do you always use guard combs on your clippers? I got in trouble big time for using a guard. Interesting. Well, that's a perfect question. Pet grooming. Pet grooming is designed to keep a dog comfortable, to put a trim on a dog that keeps them comfortable. Obviously, it looks nice. We want them to look nice. They should always look nice. And easy to maintain between grooming appointments for the pet parent. That's the important thing. If we're leaving 2-3 inches of coat, that's fine. I can do it. Not with a guard comb, then it's hand scissoring at that point. But I'm charging for it, and I'm also expecting that the client's able to keep the dog that much coat brushed out for 6 weeks. If they can't, I'm going to tell them you have to shorten the trim, because I'm not going to tolerate your dog being matted all the time because he has to wear the mats. And that's the biggest reason. It isn't what I have to go through to fix the coat. Your dog has to walk around wearing this, so it's not working. So every pet groomer, Brenda, uses guard combs because we need to produce work quickly, for one thing. 3-4 hour grooms for a little dog is ridiculous to ask that of a dog. So your guard combs are what sets the length. So you're still coming in with scissor work. You're always going to have scissor work to do after using guard combs or a clipper blade. Always going to have refining scissor work to do. The guard combs can only take the bulk of the coat down for you, but it's setting the length, whether that's 3/8 of an inch, whatever guard comb you choose. My go-to is often the 3/8 inch for the body. I like the 1/2 inch a lot too, but it doesn't suit all clients. Sometimes even 1/2 of an inch is too much for them to maintain and keep mat-free between grooming sessions. So guard combs are something that every pet groomer uses. If you're a pet groomer and you're not using guard combs, then you may be doing specialized trims, and you're not really a pet, just a pet. It's not a pet trim anymore. That's a specialized trim. That's hand scissoring. That's carding techniques. That's other things. But when we're talking pet trims, which is 99.9% of what comes through our doors in our salon is pet trims, you want to be using guard combs. So I'm not sure who would have told you that you were in trouble for using them. That would be interesting for me to hear who said that. Like, is it a boss telling you to hand scissor all your dogs? Are they charging for that? That's craziness. I don't know. I don't know. So that's why guard combs are very important, because they set the length and they set it fast. They shorten the time of the groom for the dog, which is important. The dog don't want to be there longer than he needs to be. So all these things go into pet grooming. Pet grooming should be a comfortable situation for a dog. And the better we can do to make that happen is is our job. You know, we're the professional. So guard combs are a key part of pet trimming. A key. I mean, it has to be. Every groom almost, other than our double-coated breeds, we're using guard combs. So hopefully that helped you, Brenda, but I'd love to hear why you would be getting in trouble for using guard combs. I'd like to hear that. NYAB says, how many dogs do you groom in a day and how long do you usually take for each dog? Great question. Typically, a perfect day for me is 5 dogs, and it's a tiresome day. 5 dogs a day. I'm working with a dog about an hour and a half. Small to medium-sized dogs, about an hour and a half each grooming session. Cocker Spaniel size, a Cocker Spaniel is more work. Cocker Spaniels typically take me around 2 hours, if not a little longer. Definitely. So I have to know how to schedule this, right? So if I got a Cocker Spaniel coming in, may have a Shih Tzu at 9 o'clock, done with that one at 10:30, Cocker Spaniel comes in at 10:30, I'll schedule the next one probably not until 1 o'clock, and I might have 10 minutes for a lunch break in there. So, but what a longer groom is more dollar. Don't forget to charge for your time. Doodles, sometimes some of my bigger doodles, they'll take up what would take me 3 small dog spots, almost 3 dogs. So I usually would do them either in the morning or afternoon. If I do it in the morning, that's usually one big doodle will take me all the way through to lunchtime. And then I'll start up with, you know, small dog grooms, like another one at 12:30, another one at 2, and another one at 3:30, 4 o'clock. And that'll be my last one. So if I have a big 3-hour groom, like a doodle, like Diesel on my channel, if I have a big Diesel, he's the first part of my day. But he also, as far as money-wise, I'm getting paid the same for grooming Diesel as I would if I was grooming 2 small dogs, because I'm taking that whole time spot. So I still make the same money at the end of the day. But the grooming sessions, one may be 3 hours, then the other 3 are an hour and a half sessions. Or maybe I'll only do 2 dogs because I'm wore out from the doodle. I don't know. Sometimes if I have doodles, I like to put them on the end of the day. If it's a big dog D-shed or a big doodle, I like to put them on at the end of the day if possible. So like my 12:30 appointment, and that's the last dog of the day because I'm pretty wiped out. And then it gets to the point where you say, well, you know what, doing big dogs is too much for me as you get older or whatever. There's plenty of other people to do the big dogs, but I always like to finish the dogs that I started with. So if I started doing Diesel as a puppy and he's now 10 years old, I'm going to keep doing Diesel. I'm just not going to accept any new big dogs. Does that make sense? Because I don't want to send him at 10 years old to another groomer. He knows my routine. He knows my tub. He knows my table. He knows me. He knows what we do before we're going to do it. So I try to finish, unless I would get an injury where I couldn't do big dogs, but that has never happened, thank God. I would not schedule new big dogs into my schedule. I would finish with the ones that I already have. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how long it takes me to groom. But 5 small dogs a day that's a full day. And even for me now, I mean, I've been maintaining that for years. 5 dogs a day is definitely doable for me with where I'm at with my skill level and my grooming routines. If without these grooming routines, I couldn't stay on track and schedule. You have to have those routines. So hopefully that helps you. I'm assuming you're a groomer, so kudos to you. Rosalind says, I'm wanting to start using more blades than combs on my Yorkies and Golden Doodles. Is it better to use a 5/8 HT or a 3/4 HT, or keep using the 10 and 30 blades with a comb? That's a good question, because what determines that for me, Rosalind, is the coat type. Your soft coats, like your doodles, they don't usually do, that's a long blade, which means the hair has to travel through the teeth of that blade till it can get to the cutting edge of the clipper blade. Those long blades I don't even use. The longest blade I use is a 3 blade, number 3. That's the longest one. When we get past that, I find it leaves lines in the coat. It doesn't look good. And at that point, that tells me I do better work with my guard combs. So then I would definitely go for the guard combs. With your longer links, I think you're not going to like it. Not on a Yorkie. That hard blade going down a petite Yorkie, they're not going to like it. I don't think you're going to have the success you're looking for with that, Rosalind. At least that's the way I feel about it. I feel those longer blades don't look good. They really don't. They don't look good on most coat types. That's why I don't even stock them anymore. I've tried them. I've tried the 5/8. I was like, oh God, this is like, ew, it's leaving lines. I just don't like it. I don't like the way it feels. The dogs don't like the way it feels. The guard combs, you're just kind of gliding on, you're moving, and they don't mind it. So for me, it's guard combs all the way with the longer lengths. Anything over a 3-blade would be a guard comb for me. And that's from my experience. I've tried them. I didn't like it. I had to go back and fix a lot with my blending shears. So that's defeating the purpose. So hopefully that helps you. Cindy Adventures says, my question is, how can you prep a miniature poodle of 4 months for his first grooming session? Good question. He moves a lot, rarely stays still. Yeah, he's a puppy. His paws have overgrown hair on them. Okay, it's time, 4 months. He needs to be now with a groomer, and preferably it would be a shorter grooming session. I have past live streams that I did called My Puppy Program, how you wean a dog into grooming and what you can do at home as well. And if you're not properly set up at home, he needs to be in with a groomer now. He needed to be in with a groomer. I just gave Cash so Cash is 3 months and 2 weeks. Yes, that's how old he is. I just gave him another full groom this Saturday. And he did wonderful this time. He was a little feisty last time. I couldn't believe the difference from the last time, which was 2 weeks ago, only 2 weeks ago, to now, Saturday, how he was like, yeah, Mom, you can shave my face. You want to shave my feet, my poodle? Okay, go ahead. I was like, who are you? What happened? This is great. It just takes time. But see, those first few sessions that him and I had was training. He was learning. He's like, wow. And he had clipper work and scissor work and bathing and drying done before I got him. But he was still young, and dogs are fearful of those things. They have to learn that it's something they can trust. So we've had multiple sessions where we work together. Sometimes I would only just be brushing or shaving feet or whatever. But this time we did the full thing all at once with the bath, the condition, the blowout, the whole thing. And he was great. So what it takes is consistency and repetition to keep doing it. So he needs to be with a professional. He needs to be, and it's time before he is too much work and it's too much for him to try to understand in one grooming sessions. He doesn't understand grooming yet. Okay, he has to learn. So we have to give him those short doses of grooming. And a groomer can put him on, okay, we'll do a bath, we'll do sanitary and a little light scissoring. You know, get him in and out of here. That's a dose. That's a dose of the grooming. And then it'll say, because here in a couple weeks, we're going to need to do a full groom, and I need to desensitize him a little bit. So that's what has to happen. And I do have a video on my channel, a couple of them. I have a playlist with Leigh about weaning her into grooming. She's our mini schnauzer. So yeah, there's plenty of videos that'll help you with that, but it's so important. It's a good question. I'm glad you're thinking about it. I'm glad you're thinking, I need to do that, because you're right, you do. Amy says, how can you make a dog double-coated shedding? Okay, how can you make a double-coated shedding dog look best as possible when their pants are so matted that they have to be shaved off? Well, when you have a full coat and you have to basically shave with a 7-blade, probably, because Amy, I don't think you're going to get much more through that, right? You can't leave a longer length. The best thing you can do is try to work through that matting, but in the tub with conditioner in the tub. and separate it with your fingers, pull it apart and brush it, pull it apart. Do the best to get through it. If it's so terrible bad, Amy, that you can't do it and you have to shave it, then all you can do is just contour with blending shears where you had to shave, contour it the best you can. I mean, if it's shaved with a 7, there's no way of hiding it. But I will say this, depending on what breed it is, let's say Golden Retriever, they have a beautiful full fluffy tail, and hopefully the tail wasn't in as bad shape. You didn't have to shave that. Often what I found is when I had to go short like that because the pants were so matted, that pretty fluffy tail usually hit it. Like it wasn't as obvious. Once the dog is walking around like a natural dog, when he's standing on the table and you're holding it up and looking at it, you're like, this looks terrible. But when he's just walking around looking normal, it really doesn't look as bad as you think, but it is what you had to do. So there's nothing you could have done about that. But blending shears, Amy, blending shears will be the only way to kind of smooth it together a little bit, but try not to cut into like the thighs and stuff, because now you're just going to make them look really weird, right? You're going to accentuate, hey, there's no hair back there. So use your creative eye and figure out, like I said, hold that tail and say, well, you know what? When his tail is just hanging behind him and stuff, it's not as noticeable. And then you just have to explain to the pet owner that that's what you had to do. And if they were unaware of it, pull the mats out of the trash and say, this is what I'm talking about. They can't argue with that. You're going to argue with a mat? You can't argue with the mat. No, it is what it is. So, good question. And I've been there. I've done that. I know what you have to do sometimes, and you have to do it for the dog. Unhappy Alan. Don't be an unhappy alien. Don't be unhappy alien. We like happy aliens here. What is the loop thing that you use to hold the dog still? I can't find that video anywhere. Just the grooming loop? I have a tub leash that's handmade by Emily. Those are always linked in the description of my video. The grooming loop that I use is the Groomer's Helper, and that's linked below. I'm sure it's linked below. I use it all the time. I have many videos about keeping your dog safe on the grooming table. You'll see how to properly harness it, and all those harnesses are linked in the description of that video. But it's a Groomer's Helper grooming loop, and I like that one because it has the fixed D-ring that I can then hook to the grooming arm hitch so the dog can't spin circles. And it's really important, especially if you're... I had to hook Kashi up to that to do his feet this time, and it was a game changer. I gave him the freedom last time, and he fought me the whole time on shaving feet. And I understand it. Poodles get their whole feet shaved. I understand. He's a puppy. He's like, that's just dumb. Why are you doing that? You know? I'm like, because I want to see your pretty feet. But this time he was better, and I hitched him up to the Groomer's Helper. There is a whole Groomer's Helper kit. It's $150. That is a really nice clamp that is adjustable, and you can put it in the right position on your grooming arm along with the grooming loop. I mean, if you're a groomer, having the Groomer's Helper system you should buy it. It's $150. It'll last you forever. Every now and then you have to replace the loop, the nylon loop, which they sell separately for, I don't know, they're like $16 or something on Groomer's Choice. I have so many of them. But the system is great. The Groomer's Helper system is great. That's what you'll want to look into. And I have that, I think I might have even linked it below, but maybe I didn't in this video. I have it linked in many videos. It's also over on Groomer's Choice. If you go there for my link, you'll save money. You'll get the best deal that they're offering, whether it's 10%, 20%, 15%. It'll be applied at checkout if you use my link to get over there to Groomer's Choice and land on my landing page. Hang out there with me. That's a cool landing page, though. I have put together some kits depending on what your grooming journey is. Are you a foster rescue situation, shelter situation? Are you a beginner? Are you a pro? I have some kits put together over there with my tool choices. So go check that out. Check out the link below for shopping with Amy, Leigh, and Go Groomer. Or I am Go Groomer. Amy, Leigh, and Groomer's Choice. We have similar names. Okay, so Maya says, How do you do your prices? Like, is it depending on the size, the breed, the age? No, it's depending on the amount of time it takes me to groom the dog. So I know how long it takes to groom a Cocker Spaniel. If the Cocker Spaniel is in a really bad condition, or maybe is hard to work with, so I need to add more time. Time is money. So I basically charge by the hour. What you do is you charge, like if you charge $50 for a small dog, right? Say a Shih Tzu, a Maltese, Schnauzer, $50, okay? That's an hour and a half groom. That's what I always hold myself to, an hour and a half for a small dog. So if you do the math, what do you make an hour? You know, if you make $50 an hour, it's an hour and a half. Well, what are you making? Make it 38 bucks an hour. So if you're doing a doodle, now the size is another thing though. Size it's exhausting. You're working harder. De-sheds, you're brushing for an hour while you're drying. So physical labor plays into it too. Grooming a cute little Maltese is not physically taxing on me, and I enjoy it. So yeah, I charge $50 for that. Well, your bigger dogs, you're going to charge, you should be charging $40 to $50 an hour for your bigger dogs. So if a golden doodle takes you 3 hours to groom, $150, $120. Okay, and because you also could have groomed a couple more other dogs in that time that it took you to groom that dog. But aside from that, he's a big dog with a lot of coat. It's a lot of labor, So it's not just about the size of the dog. It's the fact that the labor, all that brushing, all that washing, all that rinsing, all that trimming, it's labor on your body. So you're charging for that labor. It may not be as much labor as a Maltese. But so what I would do is take, $50 for me is a small dog, $50. So I've got a golden doodle who takes me 3 times as long. It's going to be about $150, maybe 120. If he comes regular enough, I could give him a little squeeze, a little break, charge 120. It's a lot of work, and I got to be able to do it enough time and say I got paid for my hours. So you have to do the math, how long it takes you to groom dogs, how long it takes you to groom a small dog. Base it off your small dog, and then say, okay, my small dog's an hour and a half groom, my golden doodle is a 3-hour groom, and he's a lot more laborious. He's laborious. His work is laborious. So you got to factor that into your price. And you do. It is, hey, I love my big dogs. My big dogs cost me a lot of money. And I'm a groomer. But they cost me a lot of vetting. They cost me a lot to feed them. They both eat the farmer's dog. I won't feed them anything else. That's expensive. And my little schnauzers, but they're getting like that much. My big dogs are getting like that much food every day. So if you're going to have you can't feel sorry for people that come in and say, so expensive to have him groomed. I just love big dogs. I love big dogs too, but I'm committed to paying whatever it takes to take care of that big dog. And if that means a high dollar grooming bill, I've got to pay it. If it's expensive to feed, I'm not going to feed him old Elroy food because he's expensive to feed. I'm still going to feed him the good food. I just have to pay a lot more for it. It's just the way it is. So, good question. I know a lot of people struggle with pricing, and that's a tough one. Down here, Fur Baby Wookie Dog says, hi, do you have any video demonstrating on Asian fusion grooming? My dog's a Maltese mixed dog. Oh, perfect for Asian fusion. The only Asian fusion videos I have were really fun, actually. They were live streams, grooming live, but I groomed model dog heads in an Asian fusion style head trim. So I have head trims. I think there was 3 videos where I did 3 different model dogs and all different trims. I would do one trim and then I would shorten it and do another trim on the same model dog. That was fun. They were fun. In fact, I just stumbled across them the other day and I watched a couple of them and I was like, oh, that was really fun. That was cool. So yeah, they were model dog trims, and one of them is called Asian Fusion Model Dog Trim #1 or #2 or whatever. But they were live, so it would be under my live tab, the live stream tab, not videos. Go under live stream, and you'll find it there. And then maybe that'll help you, give you some ideas for Asian Fusion. HF says, how do you get puppies used to removing inner ear hair? Good question. I just went through this with Cash. A little at a time, yes. I have a 7-week-old Schnauzer puppy and I'm learning to groom at home. Thank you for your videos. I'm learning tons. Good. I'm so happy to help. I'm glad to be part of your journey. Very important. Okay, 7 weeks old. Great. Now we're up on the grooming table. We're learning table manners. We're having table time. Yes, Schnauzers are going to need plucking. Most Schnauzers. Some don't. I can't believe it. Seems to be the wire-coated Schnauzers don't typically have a lot of hair that packs in their ears, but all the softer coated Schnauzers do. And always use ear powder, and you don't fill the ear with ear powder. You put enough in and move it around with your finger. You can feel it taking the moisture off the hair. That's what you want. And then you can take little bits at a time and pull straight out. But puppies are going to be sensitive. My little Cash, he had so much ear hair. I showed Alex. Alex was bathing Big Gus and I was trimming Cash. I said, look at all this ear hair I got out of Cash, because he finally let me do it. The last time, 2 weeks ago, he would cry about it. And I knew I wasn't hurting him, but he was like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't like it. You know, and he was being kind of a puppy, a fraidy cat, you know. And so I only did a little bit. I did a little bit so we could say, good boy, and we're done, even though I'm looking in there going, God, I need to remove all that Cash. There's a ton in there. But I was like, we're going to call it good for that session. Because I didn't want him to think, I didn't want him to get a bad idea about it, right? So start with little bits at a time. But this time, so only 2 weeks later, Cash sat there and let me remove all of the hair from inside of his. So only what's in the ear canal, nothing on the earlobe. If you pull that, that's like ripping hair out. What's inside the ear canal down in is all you remove, and it wants to come right out because it's not attached the same way as it is to the earlobe or to the rest of the body. But little bits at a time and continuously. So every couple of days, maybe get the little Schnauzer up on the table and do a little bit and hold still, hold still. And if he's being good, then end it. Good boy, even if you didn't do much. He's like, oh, well, okay, I guess I did something right. Because he's learning. Oh, that's what you want me to do. Okay. But Cash finally I couldn't believe him this time. I think as they age and as we are working with them to help them understand grooming through consistency, they finally just go, okay, I'm trusting, and I'm maturing. And I can process this better in my head now because I'm 2 weeks older than I was last time, you know. So be consistent and keep it coming. Keep it coming. And eventually you'll have one of those sessions where he'll let you remove all that and you'll be like, thank God. So Christine says, thank you for what you do, and I'm trying Asian Fusion on my Maltese, hoping you educate more on it. Okay. It's not my thing. I don't really care for it. That's why you don't see me doing it a lot. I don't care for the donut looks and the exaggerated, the short body with exaggerated leg. It's not my thing. I do think it's cute on a Maltese, on a Yorkie, Shih Tzus. It is cute. So you're probably not going to see me doing it much, Christine, because it's just not my thing, or the people, the clients, the dogs I groom, it's not their thing either. But it's fun. There are people out there that are on Instagram that do a lot of Asian Fusion that you could follow. I'm sure on Instagram or Facebook. YouTube is what I meant to say. On YouTube as well. So, yeah. Rosalind says, Amy, how do I find your page on Groomer's Choice? I don't see it. It's linked in the description of the video. I'm pretty sure I know it is. I link it in all the videos. I'm still updating a lot of videos, but it's the link says groomerschoice.com/GoGroomer. It's linked. says shop with Amy Leigh and Groomer's Choice. It's there. You have to click the show more button. A lot of people don't do that. So when you're looking in the description, you just see a little bit of a description. Well, then you'll see ... more. Click that and all this stuff drops down. All the text is available. So maybe you're not clicking on that. You click show more or more. It'll say one or the other, and you should be able to see it. Lois says, Amy, I just finished Shih Tzu Squirt summer haircut. Oh, it's a little Shih Tzu. She really actually looks like a Shih Tzu finally. Oh, good. It's a win-win-win. Good, Lois. See, improving consistency and practice. Thanks for the good work and your patience with me. Oh, thank you for putting the work in, Lois. You did it. I'm just here to kind of help throw you in there a little bit. Step you up to the grooming table, right? So I'm proud that you had success. What a good feeling that is, isn't it? I know. There's so many different areas of grooming that are stressful when we don't feel we mastered it yet, you know? And it's like, I just want to do better, but I can't. Well, guys, I got to roll out of here. I am so thankful you joined me today, and I hope I'm going to get to see some of you at RWGroomX. I hope so. I see one question popped in. I'm going to answer it. Oh, there's another one. You guys can't keep giving me questions. I got to pack my car. All right, getting it real quick. Hello, I have a Havanese, very long hair. Do you have any tips on how to trim the coat like this, especially the legs, so they don't look choppy? Very long coat. You're going to need to get really friendly with some blending shears. So if you're using a longer guard comb to set the length, because you said, yeah, I like a longer coat, that's cool. Using a longer guard comb, it is going to be choppy looking. So then you'll comb it all up, and you have to be working with a perfectly clean, dried, brushed out coat to get precise scissor and clipper work. And then you're going to take your blending shears and you're just going to fade off any of those lines right at the surface, not in the coat, right at the surface. Just fade the outline with your blending shears to smooth it out, and it'll look much better. So hopefully that helps you. Unhappy Alien says, black nail palm is I'm using a Dremel. I'm too scared to cut, but I feel some nails are still too long. Well, I have plenty of nail trimming videos that show you when to stop. It's at the quick, and it shows you how to know you're there. So go watch them. I have so many of them, so many of those videos that'll help you, nail trim videos. So I have what you got. I have what you need. I have a video. Go watch it. And it's easier to see in a video than for me to try to explain something to you, you know? So Rosalind says, my homepage is different than others. I don't know. My homepage is, yeah. My homepage with Groomer's Choice has a picture of me and bacon. And then it has my grooming kits. But it is the Groomer's Choice website. You can type in the search, you can type any tool that you're looking for. You can just simply use the links that are in the videos to get over there too. But it goes to Groomer's Choice website. So guys, I'm going to hop out of here. We're going to finish packing. We're going to grab something to eat tonight. I cannot wait. It's going to be a big day tomorrow. We're going to be in the car about 11 hours, but it's going to be so worth it. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks, but you can follow me. I'll probably make some posts on my community tab here on YouTube, where I can only post pictures and stuff, but just tell you what's going on, or maybe post some pictures. Instagram and Facebook, I will definitely be posting over there because I can do videos and whatever, little fun stories to take you along on the adventure with me. But it is definitely going to be fun, and it's going to be an adventure. We'll probably be pretty wiped out when we get home. So in closing here today, only thing I'm going to leave you with is one more thing here. We're going to watch the Farmer's Dog Super Bowl commercial that warmed hearts of dog lovers all over the world. I've partnered with the Farmer's Dog because I believe in feeding fresh food to dogs. Absolutely. And I feed it to our schnauzers and my big boys. If you're interested in food for your dog that is species appropriate, tailored to a dog's specific nutrition needs, FDA approved, human grade quality ingredients, I would love to save you 80% on your first box of the Farmer's Dog fresh food delivered to your door. So click the link in the description below and see the benefits that fresh food has to offer you and your beloved pets firsthand. There's one more thing to say other than I love you guys. And thank you for being awesome. We're going to say it together, aren't we? You know what we got to say. It's all about the dog. It's all about the dogs. Long live dogs.
I'll always take care of